The Alabama Farmers Federation and the Alabama Farmers Cooperative proudly present Simply Southern with your hosts Jim Allen and Mary Johns.
Hey there, y'all, and thanks for joining us again today. I'm Mary Johns.
And I'm Jim Allen. Alabama families with children facing serious illnesses are not alone. This week on Simply Southern, we'll tell you about an organization dedicated to creating moments of joy in their lives.
Our mission is to bring happiness to them, even if it is just for a moment.
Alabama's Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail has brought professional golf to the state for the last 21 years. But it takes a lot of work and dedication to ensure all those greens and fairways meet the expectations of professional golfers.
They start 6 to 8 weeks out. Those stripes in the fairways don't happen overnight.
Sidney Phelps of Bonnie Plants will give you some things to consider when selecting containers for plants you may want to grow at your home.
But after this break, whether it's the New York subways or Birmingham's towering Vulcan, if an iron deficiency is the problem, one small town Alabama outfit has the cure.
What sustains us? Food? Family? Faith? Alabama farmers live those things every day. They conserve our resources, clothe our families, and fill our tables. They cultivate jobs for our communities and values for our future. Farmers grow it all right here in Alabama.
There's no such thing as downtime when you own a farm. This is your land. You tend it and try to get the most from it, no matter the weather or time of day. It's been that way for generations. And for generations, your local quality co-op store has been there for you, with a full range of agriculture supplies and services, from feed to fertilizer, seed to grain storage, and the right hardware for any application. You'll always find what you need, plus friendly, knowledgeable advice at your local quality co-op store. There's one near you.
From ornamental fencing and gates to the majestic fountains that decorate our country's parks and downtowns, cast iron can be part of something new or a cherished connection to the past. But whether it's contemporary or antique, an Alabama company has gained a national reputation for its beautiful ironwork. When the small town of Wingo, New York needed to restore their century-old Baker Fireman's Fountain, they turned to an Alexander City company to get the job done. They're not alone. Robinson Iron has been a leader in ornamental ironwork for decades.
We're more of a niche type company where we do very customized material. We do have a catalog where we have sold a lot of our cast iron pieces based on the historical patterns we own, but for the most part, the bulk of our business is in restoration projects.
Robinson Iron grew out of the foundry Joseph Robinson started in 1946. At the time, ironworks responsible for many of the nation's ornamental pieces, like J.L. Mott and J.W. Fisk, were beginning to go out of business. Sensing an opportunity, Robinson began to build a collection of the patterns these foundries had used for their pieces.
Fountains were misplaced or damaged in these towns and cities and communities. Eventually, though, there was a renaissance. There was a time when people wanted to put back the fountains and historical pieces they had. So my grandfather had all the patterns.
While Robinson Iron's business plan started primarily in manufacturing these fountains and other ironwork, eventually demand for their patterns and expertise began to attract some larger clientele.
Over the years, we became less of a manufacturer and more of a contractor. We were contacted by an architect in New York City who said, you know, I've read about your company and I feel like you can reproduce this kiosk at Astor Place. We recreated it from the ground up and we installed it, and it made a big fuss in the city. And so from that, we did all kinds of work for the city that went on for about a decade.
Robinson Iron has been a part of restoration efforts in state capitals, major metros, and small towns. Their old-fashioned know-how has revived countless beloved cityscapes and landmarks. Now, with the adoption of new technology, they have taken their abilities to a higher level.
We can model pieces using CAD drawings, computer-aided design, or we can actually laser scan existing ironwork, build a model, and then cut it in a three-dimensional router. So the 3D work that we've gotten into in the last 10 years has really been a game changer for us.
With one project at Bursky Park in Toronto, this 3D technology allowed them to transform small toy dog figurines into lifelike iron sculptures.
It's a dog park fountain. It's the largest fountain we've ever produced. We did 27 varieties of dogs to go around the fountain, and we did one cat because somebody said, you know, hey, we can't leave the cats out. So it's been a real big hit in Toronto. They have absolutely loved it.
Whether it's restoring Birmingham's Vulcan to his original glory or breathing new life into Owego's Fireman Fountain, the folks at Robinson Iron usually walk away from a project feeling like much more than just a contractor.
It's a great thing when a community has a focal point, especially a small town. It may be a fountain in the middle of town, it may be a gazebo, it may be a sculpture. But when people grow up with those focal points, they become a part of their life. One of the neatest things is to return it. And when you return it and have the people come by and say, you know, I remember that as a little boy and it looks so beautiful and so happy to see it back. And that really is a great feeling.
Mary, back when Robinson Iron was restoring the Vulcan in the 90s, they brought him to Alexander City piece by piece, and they had his foot sitting there, and people came from all over the place to have the picture made with his foot. This lady showed up with a photo from back in the 30s when she was a little girl standing next to the foot when it was at the state fairgrounds. And it's just amazing.
That is such a cool story. She and that Vulcan get around.
They do get around.
So now, since it was in pieces, were there other parts of the Vulcan that made for good selfies?
Well, they had his lower extremities with his skirt there and what was under his skirt. Well, let's just say that Alex City had a full moon.
Oh gosh. And that's a fitting end to that story, I think.
Right.
When Simply Southern continues, we'll meet some clay shooters with big hearts at an annual fundraiser that helps provide magic moments to Alabama children with life-threatening illnesses.
Soybean is a very versatile product. We make crayons out of it.
A lot of the combines you see rolling through the fields have a lot of plastic side panels that are made from a soy product.
The soybeans that we grow on our farm mostly goes into chicken feed.
Soybean production in Alabama employs over 10,000 people.
We grow some of the best soybeans in the world.
We go the extra mile to make sure when our name is stamped on it, we know it's the best product we can produce.
You could see it before anyone else. Your future, your own place, independence. It's not perfect, but you love it. A place to grow, to be yourself.
All for a better life.
Dream big. Alpha Insurance.
All for a better life.
Protect your dream with Alpha's new business owner policies.
A farmer has to live on faith. We do all we can do, but we can only control so much.
Alabama is the second largest poultry growing state in the nation, so we're trying our best to grow all the corn we can for that.
What we produce not only feeds and clothes all of the United States, but about half of what we make goes on to the world market.
We've been able to improve yields, have some things that can help us produce a better crop. I'm proud of the product we make and proud that I can say I'm an Alabama farmer.
Childhood should be a time when anything seems possible, but some Alabama children with serious illnesses face circumstances that would be tough even for adults. Melissa Bowman shows us how one organization and its dedicated volunteers work to put magic back in these children's lives.
On a gorgeous autumn afternoon just on the outskirts of Montgomery, a decade-long ritual is taking place. Clay shooting enthusiasts have gathered at the Lower Wetumpka Shotgun Sports Club for an annual tradition.
We're here having our 10th annual Magic Moments River Region Clay Shoot, and as you can tell, it's been a beautiful day. Perfect weather, 78 degrees, a little breeze, and just having fun and busting some clays.
Don't let the fierce competition fool you. While these shooters are serious about the sport and having fun, they're here for a higher purpose. They're raising funds for Magic Moments, a wish-granting organization for Alabama children diagnosed with chronic, life-threatening illnesses.
We should have around 30 teams of 4, so there's about 120 shooters out there. We have sponsorships from local businesses and some individuals. Today should provide for about 6 Magic Moments to be given to kids.
These clay shooters are not alone. Across Alabama, many kind-hearted people work hard to ensure Magic Moments receives the funding it needs.
Throughout the year, Magic Moments holds a variety of fundraisers like the one today. Whether participants are shooting clays or swinging golf clubs, they're having a great time, but they're also supporting a very worthy cause. The money they raise will put a smile on the face of a child who needs and deserves to feel a moment of pure joy.
Shoot clays and hang out, have a great meal, but you also, when you meet the families that are touched by the funds and the proceeds that are being raised from this event, that's what it's really all about.
Since 1984, the organization has granted over 4,700 Magic Moments to Alabama children between ages 4 and 18 facing life-threatening illnesses. For families dealing with some of life's toughest challenges, a chance to forget about their hardships, even for a short time, means more than most of us could imagine.
These children, they miss so much. The families miss so much. The siblings miss out on so much because of their routines. They're at clinic, or they've been hospitalized.
You're going to Disney World.
Depending on what a child has his or her heart set on, a Magic Moment can take many forms. Disney World is always a popular choice, and so are shopping sprees, celebrity meetings, and more. What all Magic Moments have in common is they include the whole family.
It's one thing for a child to be diagnosed with these illnesses. You can only imagine what the parents are going through, but their siblings go through it also. So everything we do really encompasses the whole family.
Once a child's Magic Moment is approved, volunteers plan a big surprise. Often several people collaborate to plan elaborate events that add even more excitement to already great news. Mary Bradley remembers her son's reaction when he learned he was getting the shopping spree he wanted.
He kept saying, wow, wow, wow. And then so after he's like, Mommy, I really get to go shopping. I said, yes, you really get to go shopping.
Joseph sums up how he felt in one word.
Happy!
Magic Moments wants that happy feeling to last, so their work doesn't end after granting a wish. Beyond the Moment is a program that brings families together throughout the year for parties and special events, including a family camp held annually at Children's Harbor on Lake Martin.
The whole purpose of this is not only to keep these families connected with us, the staff at Magic Moments, but with other families, because these families connect with the bond that we can't really describe.
When you experience firsthand what Magic Moments does for the children it serves as well as their families, it leaves a mark. It's why over 100 clay shooters are here today and why hundreds more people across the state team up to help this organization.
Once you see that, I mean, you're hook, line, and sinker. You're going to be involved.
For these children and the parents who care so deeply for them, it truly is magic.
Just to see the light in his eyes, to see him light up, that was joy in itself.
For Simply Southern, I'm Melissa Bowman.
Although Magic Moments receives most of their referrals from family members or medical professionals, they also want to hear from Alabama residents. If you know of a child who might be eligible for a Magic Moment, you can fill out a form at www.magicmoments.org. Professional level golf starts at the ground level. When we come back, Mary will show you how the grounds crew at Capitol Hill and Prattville works overtime to prepare for its annual LPGA event.
One out of 4 Alabama residents have benefited from the Alabama Cooperative Extension System. Last year, Master Gardener Managed Gardens donated $150,000 worth of fruits and vegetables to food banks, and over 25,000 young people developed math, science, technology, and engineering skills through 4-H. Now what we want to know is, how can we help you?
The versatile peanut. Meat of the earth. Friend of the soil. Tasty, nutritious, packed with protein. And Alabama peanut farmers nourish some very special things. Families, communities, and Alabama's economy. Peanuts. Good for you, good for Alabama.
And now, an Alabama tourism spotlight from Sweet Home, Alabama. The rotunda of Alabama's state capitol building stands sentry at the end of Montgomery's historic Dexter Avenue. And on the inside of that rotunda, 8 murals capture the spirit of Alabama's rich history up until 1926, the year the paintings were commissioned by then-Governor William Woodward Brandon. Events depicted date back to European exploration in 1540, with 4 murals that hearken to the days before Alabama's statehood. And that important historical moment is also represented with a mural of the 1819 Constitutional Convention in Huntsville. Mural artist Roderick McKenzie, a Scotsman raised in Mobile, also captured a scene of life in Alabama as he saw it in 1926. For your next adventure, go online to alabama.travel.
We've been raising fish for 33 years. Our farm and the catfish farms in Hale County, in this area, have had a huge impact on the labor, offering jobs. It's been a big economic boom for West Alabama. Our family is fully invested in U.S. farm-raised catfish.
Alabama doesn't have its own professional sports team, but there is one professional sport that's been played here for the past 21 years, golf.
Since the late 90s, the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail has hosted numerous PGA and LPGA events. The most recent was the 2018 Guardian Championship, which meant working extra hours for the grounds crew at Capitol Hill in Prattville. The clock reads 5:50 a.m. and it's pitch black out. Not quite the time you expect to hear the loud hum of mowers. But with headlights glaring, the Capitol Hill grounds crew has been hard at work for nearly 2 hours already. Because once the sun comes up, they have limited moments before it's practice time for the 120 professional women's golfers competing in the Guardian Championship on the Symetra Tour.
Our normal summertime hours are anywhere from 5:30 to 3:30. Tournament hours, we start at 4 and try to get off that course by 7:30, and we're trying to get greens double mowed, rolled, fairways mowed, tees mowed, everything mowed out so that they have the proper conditions each morning. And then our guys, actually we have 2 other golf courses at this facility, so we then take our guys and split them up and move to maintaining the other 2 golf courses. So because we have outings on the other 2 courses, and we're open for play, public play again next week, so it's got to be ready for them.
There's about 30 people on the Capitol Hill grounds crew, and they start working overtime long before the tournament starts.
They start 6 to 8 weeks out. The mowing frequency really increases on championship golf. Those stripes in the fairways don't happen overnight. We burn those in by mowing daily, whereas in season we're mowing fairways 3 days a week. We'll start mowing a month to 6 weeks out daily on fairways. The rough, everything just increases in intensity. Green preparation, the greens are a little bit faster for a tournament than they are in a day-to-day operation. So this time of year, the height will get a little bit lower. Then we'll also roll the greens with a roller behind them just to increase the speed and the smoothness of the putting surface.
Some of the mowers leave behind clippings, and you just want it to be as tidy as you possibly can. So we're blowing fairways off behind the fairway mowers. We've got guys with blowers blowing out the bunkers before they hand rake them, blowing off collars and surrounds just to try to keep the place looking up to par.
Spread over 600 acres, Capitol Hill has 3 18-hole courses. including the judge and the legislator. The professionals play on the senator, which is designed in a style most popular in the country that invented golf.
It's a link-style golf course with 140 to 160 pot bunkers surrounding it. Large piece of property with about 100 acres of native grasses as well. So kind of winds through the native grasses similar to that in Scotland.
There's a lot of moguls and mounds, so there's some high points, low points for spectators as they're walking around on the cart paths. You can see multiple holes from different locations, and it's a great spectator spot as well.
Along with the grounds crew, the clubhouse staff works extra hours, feeding more people than usual. And that extra effort really pays off when it leads to household names developing a special affinity for Alabama golf.
Lexi Thompson got her first professional victory here at Capitol Hill, and she's been coming here a long time. So we hope those players remember this place and think special of it. And you know, you build some relationships through those events, and you get to follow them throughout their career. So it is definitely a special thing.
But the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail is about more than just professional golf. It's also about offering the best possible experience to the public at its 11 sites in the state.
It's truly the best affordable public golf in the United States, and I can say that with confidence, being in the golf business for 28 years now. But we have world-class golf, and that's the one thing when I've learned when I visit the other trail sites. They're all spectacular in their own way, and they're all unique in their own way, but they're all world-class golf in the same way.
What one thing can you say about your local quality co-op store? You can trust us. You get what you need for your farm, for your lawn and garden, and the safest products for your pets. We're locally owned and operated, and you can trust that we care about our community and the people in it. So if you're a raised bed gardener, a rose gardener, or if you farm hundreds of acres, the Quality Co-op Store has exactly what you need to get the job done. All this plus friendly, knowledgeable advice. Your Quality Co-op Store. There's one near you.
Support healthy food from local farmers by purchasing a Farming Feeds Alabama license plate. The tag funds education and promotion efforts, including Ag in the Classroom, agricultural scholarships, and youth programs. Get your Ag tag today.
For more Simply Southern, be sure to follow us on social media. And while you're online, visit our website, simplysouthern.tv.net. Simply Southern will continue in a moment.
We believe a plant should be more than a plant. This one is. It's all you need for your garden to succeed because it's a Bonnie plant. It represents hundreds of varieties of Bonnie's quality veggies and herbs. But more, it's from generations of Bonnie people who are passionate about sharing their love of gardening with you. Look for this little Bonnie plant and a whole family of plants like it in your garden center. Bonnie plants, so you'll know how to grow.
Hey folks, Sidney Phelps here with Bonnie Plants. Today we're going to talk about choosing the right container for you. Now, I know sometimes when you go in the garden center, the options can be endless and it gets very confusing. So what we're going to start off with is giving all the examples of what you can plan to purchase when you go into a garden center. So we're going to start with the high-end containers, and that's going to be your glazed ceramic. Now, glazed ceramic is great. It's very decorative. It lasts forever as long as you don't have any type of major malfunction or somebody hitting it, because it will shatter and bust like a terracotta container. But it's heavy, it's great, and it's going to be something that people can look at all year long. Now, the thing about this container, this is a 14-inch glazed ceramic. We've got a cabbage plant that's already planted into it. With ceramic, you can pretty much put anything. A lot of the times they're going to have the watering trays or the dishes underneath it. You're not going to be able to drill into this or adjust anything when it comes to drainage. So make sure that you've got proper drainage when you're selecting this container. Now, ceramic will last as long as you possibly have it. With a 14-inch ceramic though, you can do a couple of different things with that. You can add mixed herbs, 2 to 3 herbs will fit in that container. Be great on the patio, but ceramic varies from small containers that go indoors all the way up to the large containers up to 24 inches. Now, if you don't want to spend that much money on a glazed ceramic, the next option you have is terracotta. Now, terracotta is traditional. We see this all over the place. This is what our parents, our grandmothers had. Traditional terracotta is all the ways throughout the garden center. You can find it as small as a little 4-inch succulent container, an 8-inch saucer like we have here, or all the way up to a full 36 and 48-inch container for your outdoor patio. The thing about terracotta, it's porous, It is easily breakable, but it's a great, standard, consistent look that you always have. Terracotta is not as expensive. It is cheaper than the ceramic, but it's a little bit higher end than plastic. So it's a great option to have for whenever you are trying to decide between ceramic or porcelain or terracotta. Now, if you don't want to pay the price for terracotta and you need something more durable, I suggest going with plastic. This is an 18-inch plastic. It's a double wall, so it's a higher end plastic versus a single wall. It's not going to break as easy. This pot actually has a 10-year warranty, but it's very lightweight. 18-inch, you have plenty of options with that. With 18 inches, you can do multiple herbs in this. You can do multiple lettuces as long as they're not a heading lettuce like a romaine. So you can put leaf lettuces in here. You can put spinach, arugulas, probably 6 herbs in a container like this. You'll have plenty of space to growing it out. Right now, we've got a Christmas tree rosemary, mainly because of the shape is economical. This is great to go by your doorsteps as you come into a house. It's a good piece to have, and it's easily movable once you get it set up in place. Now, if you don't need something that large, you can always go with a single thin wall plastic like I talked about earlier. Anything below 10 inches, you're really looking at using one single plant, and that's going to be herbs, primarily windowsill style treatments, or in house plants, orchids, anytime you go less than that. Now, if you're ready to get into your tomatoes, peppers, zucchini, they need a lot of space, they need a lot of drainage, and there's a couple of different ways you can do that. So right here we've got a whiskey barrel, 24-inch, and then I've got a large plastic specialty container that's 36 inches. Now, if you cattlemen are in the building, you have the sweet lick style feed or mix whatever, this is the option. It's basically the same style bucket. It's great for tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, and zucchini. It gives it a lot of space. You're only going to be able to plant 1 pepper, 1 tomato to an item like this because you're going to need a lot of root growth. You're going to need a lot of moisture content, but you're also going to have to drill or add rocks. That way you can open up the moisture so you're not dealing with blossom end rot or anything like that. If you're doing zucchinis or cucumbers maybe 1 or 2 at a time, zucchini, squash, 1 per pot. But you can find more information at bonnieplants.com of the great layouts available for you and how to choose the right container.
If there's something going on in your garden that you're not sure about, ask Sidney. Send your questions to him at simplysouthern@alafarm.com, and we'll send you a nice gift if he answers your question on the show.
Well, Mary, once again, our work here is done.
All right.
Thanks to each of you for watching. Next week on Simply Southern, we'll meet a lady who's not only sharing her talents on canvas, but is spreading the joy of painting to others.
And we'll visit one of the nation's top art festivals, and it's right here in Alabama. I'm Mary Johns.
And I'm Jim Allen. We'll see you again next week.
Simply Southern is a production of the Alabama Farmers Cooperative and the Alabama Farmers Federation.